Hey everybody, this is Tim Charron, and welcome to my brand new podcast called The Charron Zone, blah, 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 blah. Welcome to The Charron Zone. I have motivational speaker Scott Maloney with me today. How are you doing today, Scott?
I'm pretty fair, Foursquare. How you doing?
Good, man. So do me a favor and tell my listeners, number one, what it is that you have been doing in your career as a motivational speaker.
I'd be happy to. Well, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm originally from a small town in between Boston and Providence called Plainville, Massachusetts. And I'm a motivational speaker found throughout the country. To date, I just, a few weeks ago actually, I spoke to my 28th state, and that was Pennsylvania, right outside Harrisburg. And now you're probably wondering what I speak about. I'm an interactive motivational speaker, and I'm primarily found on high school, colleges, and universities. I have a few programs that I deliver. The most in demand is called I Got Lucky. It's meant to be a tongue-in-cheek innuendo type thing, like I got lucky on the Boston College campus. That innuendo gets kids or gets students interested and want to check it out. Like, hey, maybe I'll get lucky if I check it out. And in that program, I speak on the often self-destructive decisions anyone can make under the influence of alcohol. I give real-world examples, and I don't just put the audience to sleep, but the whole I believe in you rigmarole. I have a background in stand-up and improv comedy, so it's entertaining as well as educational. And that whole belief, if you can make a woman laugh, you can make her do anything.
Right.
You know that phrase? Yeah, that's not true. So I give real-world examples, and when I have the attention of the audience, I share with them my personal story of how I truly did get lucky my senior year of college, where to any of your listeners that are parents, I talk about how I'm responsible for delivering every parent's worst nightmare, regardless of age, gender, orientation, financial status, cultural upbringing. Every parent's worst nightmare is to receive that phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning that says, get to the hospital ASAP and be prepared for the worst.
So I was watching one of your videos. So basically, you had a few drinks and you ended up falling out of was it off of a balcony or a window?
Out of a window.
Out of a window.
And a few drinks. I'm not sure if that's sarcasm or not, but I wasn't bombed, blitzed, or buzzed. I just had just a few drinks. I wasn't, rocked off my tail or under the table and dreaming. I had a couple of brews in me. And what happened was I locked my keys inside my room. I was a big bad senior living in a freshman dorm, so I had no roommates. It's just me in a nice, good-sized room. And I locked my keys inside my room. And now, just like every college campus, there were freshmen drinking. And rather than call campus security, campus police to, come down to the dorm and let me in, so I don't want to, bust on all these freshman parties. So I'll just climb out the hallway window onto a tree branch and into my individual dorm room window, which... Oh,
I see. So you're trying to climb up a tree to get into your dorm.
Not up a tree. I was trying to climb out from the third story onto a tree branch and into my individual room.
Oh.
And that proved to be the worst mistake of my life, almost a damn near fatal mistake.
I see. So, what ended up happening physically?
I was declared legally brain dead upon arrival at the hospital. My parents received that phone call, and they were escorted to my room and told to say goodbye.
Oh, that's
Can you imagine that?
No.
How messed up is that? I say this in my speech and my program, that it sucks, but the majority of children, adult children, are going to one day have to say goodbye to their parents, be in a hospital, hospice, or in their house. And no parent should ever have to say goodbye to their to their kid, to their son or daughter. And that's what my folks were told to do. And somehow they were able to convince the attending neurosurgeon that there's just a chance, well, I should say, the attending surgeon said there's just a chance of flicker in my left eye. And that was all he needed to conduct an emergency neurosurgery or brain surgery.
So, so tell me, how do you translate this into motivation? I mean, I do something similar because, I do an anti-bully tour, and I was bullied, and so I tell my story, and then I do my best to motivate after that. So how does that cross over?
Yeah, taking a negative, turning it into a positive. That's what I think most motivational speakers do or try to do. In my case, I inspire, educate, and motivate students, or I should say audiences. It's not just students, it's students. I give them real-world examples. And I say, fools have to learn from, not fools, but that's kind of insulting. But the wise person learn. What's that?
Who cares? We don't mind insulting.
It's better to learn from the mistakes of others rather than making the mistakes on your own. And I tell them, this is what happened to me, and I really did get lucky. Not everyone is as lucky as I was, is as lucky as I am.
Right.
To be walking, talking, thinking, breathing, on their own,
and also going out and doing all these appearances where you get to, I mean, that's a great full circle kind of thing that you go out and you share your tragic experience that you turned into a positive by going around and sharing the story and inspiring and uplifting and motivating people. So I'm sure that makes you. I was going to say I'm sure that that's really fulfilling for you to do that.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's by far, I can say without a doubt, the most rewarding job I've ever had, and likely the most rewarding job I'll ever have. And this is a music-oriented program, so I think you'll appreciate this. I say this to high school students, and they don't get the reference. Some college kids do. I was actually spoke at a prison here in Massachusetts last year, and they all got the reference. I say I'm taking the advice of John, Paul, George, and Ringo, and taking a sad song and making it better.
There you go.
And they say John, Paul, George, and Ringo. They say Ringo. Isn't that a clown? I go, bozo, you bozo. Are you kidding me?
That's pretty frightening.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, cool. Speaking of musicians, seeing that most of my listeners are musicians, do you have any advice from your very interesting life that you could partake to any musicians listening?
Yeah. Sure. Well, before we get into musicians, I can say to speakers, if there are anybody like you, like myself, who you started off in music, but now you're trying to not focus, but have a side hustle as a speaker, which is extremely admirable, which is kind of ironic, actually, because I was in a band before I was hurt, so I was initially a musician, but then I ended up as a speaker. And you started off as a performer,
always a performer.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But anyone who wants to achieve a goal, be it in the music industry, wanting a career in comedy, in business, as a police officer or a teacher, yada, yada, yada. Insert variable here. Anybody who wants to really is hell-bent on achieving a goal or achieving a career, there are 5 components to it. a mission, a vision, path, purpose, and passion. And that's kind of generic. It sounds like generic, but everyone needs all 5 of those components to achieve any goal.
I was just watching, the other day, I was watching this extremely popular, millions and millions of views, this speech by Arnold Schwarzenegger that was
of course, that's great.
Yeah, in the past year or two. And he, hammered those points exactly,
Right. And he's walked the walk, and he's done it in front of the world.
Exactly. Over and over again.
Yeah. Be it in bodybuilding, movies, or politics.
Yep.
He's done it all. One of the things he says in that speech, if we're both talking about the same one, because I think he has a few, but one of them is, he says something along the lines of, one of the reasons, one of the perks, one of the pros of doing the impossible is proving the naysayers wrong.
Yes, that's the same speech, and that's something that I talk about on this podcast all the time. It's one of my main motivating factors. I like to tell people that in my life I like to use the carrot and the stick on myself, if that makes any sense. I want to go for things that I want, and I also want to use the naysayers and the doubters and the people that are trying to hold me back as fuel for my work ethic to achieve what I want to achieve. So I don't want to just be like, oh, I want to get this goal. I also want the other side to be kind of where the goal, the great outcome is pulling me along. I want the so-called negative stuff or haters or whatever.
I think Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra said it best. The best revenge is massive success.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. That's what I always say as I sit at my desk and overlook the ocean. I totally agree, man.
Yeah. There's, what was I going to say? In my program I say, especially to the high school kids, people can talk trash about you whenever you say no to any peer pressure, which sounds silly, but peer pressure is obviously a common thread. It's a big negative that's, always been here and is always here, to this day.
And it doesn't
now
end
it's more
when you get out of school either.
Sorry?
I was saying it doesn't end when you get out of school either.
Right. And people can talk trash about you behind your back. It's just trash talking trash. And I'm sorry if I come in and out. It's a robocall. Don't you hate those? Those robocalls.
Yeah.
I get dozens each day.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Another thing, trash talking trash, but when people are behind you, just think to yourself, hey, get used to the view.
There you go. I like it.
But that's how I think.
Well, do me a favor, do me a favor and let my listeners know, and me, if anybody wants to check out your work and or book you for a talk, where can they find you?
All right, my website is scottmaloney.com. That's SCOTTMALONEY.com. And you can follow me on Twitter, which is Scott_Maloney. My Facebook page, which is facebook.com/motivational speaker Scott Maloney. Or I just got Instagram about a week ago, and that's Speaker Scott Maloney.